Okay, good afternoon all. Hope everyone is well. Speedy, how you doing, buddy? Okay, just quickly, before we start, I'm looking at a possible trade here, possible second entry long. We seem to have a little bit of sideways and looks like a spike and channel. My only slight issue is this. I don't know, it looks like it may be topping off for a pullback. So I'm not sure about this. It is sort of two legs and a new low. It is respecting that, but there's not much room to the highs, and this, we're getting a few red bars here, so I don't know whether this is going to come down. Let's say I take that there. There's not maybe sideways up. To keep an eye on this one. Armanas, how you doing? Nice thumbnail, brother. Thanks. I thought I'd do something a bit different. Adnan, how you doing? Brick, how are you? Nomad J, how you doing, buddy? Risky opened. Yeah. I don't know. See, we've had whether this is a channel or not, but I don't mind too much taking something into the open as long as it's a good setup. But there's not a massive amount of room to the highs, and I just don't like these. It's almost like it's topping off a bit. It looks like it might work, but it is a second entry long. But what I will say is there is a little bit of sideways there. So I'd rather just leave it. That bearish bar there has triggered, so it probably will push up. But I'm just not a massive fan at the moment. This does look like it's working, but I just don't like that. It is a little leg with a break and a new low. But I don't know. I'm just not a huge fan of it. I don't mind trading into the open market as long as it's a good setup, but I just don't know. And if I have any doubts, I tend to just stay away from it. But it is a little bit congested here, so it could come back. I don't know. If we broke above that bar, there's a lower high there. I'd think that would, but there's a failure there, and if that comes down, it's going to trap them longs. And that's just looking like it's flitting up and down a bit, which makes me nervous because it could drop quite quick. So market opens in about 7 or 8 seconds. So I wouldn't be shocked if that got stopped out. Let's see. If it pushes up above that and that, then it'll go, I think. Okay, so it's triggered that. Let's have a look. There are some tops there, so yeah, I had my suspicions. I wouldn't have, I'd have got out. I always tend to get out here at the bodies, and that likely wouldn't have ticked through, so leg and a leg, that's probably a little bit better. But leg and a leg. Good decision to stay out of there. It did go for a bit, but not much. Let's see if we can get maybe a higher low here, so we'll have a look. But yeah, we've had this bit of sideways. We had some news which caused that little bit of spike. Now I see two different things happening with news. Usually, well, I say usually, let's not say usually because I don't know. Sometimes it'll push up with the spike of news and then come back and more or less recover it all, or sometimes it'll go up, stabilize, and then continue on up. So if I can get a higher low here above the EMA, I'll take a trade there. Just in case, that's all. I'm not saying it's going to, but yeah, sometimes we'll recover it all, and other times, if it's good positive news, it might capitalize and continue on up. But this at the moment is quite a bit below the EMA, so I'm not thinking about going long just yet. That's another reason why I have this, because if we have a higher low, but this is quite bearish, I'll stay out of the trade, because there's always a possibility. If I take a higher low, there's always a possibility of that. That's why I like having that. That looks more bearish. This looks like it could push up. So let's see how that finishes. Let's see if that finishes bullish, because without this, That's a trade I may have taken. Let's see if it is, because this might be a channel with the break. Let's have a look. Okay, now that's bullish. It's one tick off finishing on its highs. So that's a trade I don't usually mind taking a higher low. So it's triggered. Now it may push up because this is starting to climb. That is normally a trade. So that looks like a leg and a leg with a higher low. That's normally a trade I would take. But because it's looking quite bearish. Depends, we have that down there. It's not very clear. Let's have a look. This, I think, for me is looking slightly bearish. So let's have a look. Let's see if that would have held. So that is a trade I normally would have taken, a higher low. Trouble is we're quite a bit below the EMA. Maybe that's a good sign. Maybe it's a sign we're pulling back to the EMA and this is going to push up. But the trouble is we could have a break and a new low from this channel. Let's see if this does come down. This, to me, 2 legs round up to the EMA. This might look... let's see. It's a spike and a bit of a channel. It looks like it, but this is just looking a bit sketchy. So there's like 2 legs up there. Let's see. So ordinarily, that is a trade I would have taken in the past. Break, higher low, 2 legs back, higher low, and that would have worked. That's looking bullish now. Yeah, okay, so that would have worked. 2 points, just. But at the time, we were coming down, so while this is coming down, I don't really want to be going along. I want them to sort of go in sync. So the higher low would have worked. So leg up, leg up. Let's see if we come down and make a new low. So at the moment, this is, I did wonder whether this was a 2-tiered channel. This tier and that tier. There is a possibility that there may be a 2-tiered channel, but at the moment, I'd just rather keep it like that. Let's get rid of this. So 1, 2 legs, higher low. That was the higher low there. It did hold just by the skinnier teeth. Okay, so first entry, second entry, you can recount them. So let's see if we can get a long here, maybe. Maybe a second entry long that's going to push up, because I probably expect this to push up higher than this. It's too far to take it there, to be honest with you. It is bullish. But that's too far. I'd like a second entry long. That, I think, would possibly get stopped out if it comes back to the EMA. It's going to. That looks to me like it's going to trap some shorts there, some longs. So I would expect that to get stopped out. That is too far from the EMA, in my opinion. Way too far on the EMA. It looks like a weak entry, that. And this market's very efficient at stopping out those. Let's see if it does. Rodian, how you doing, bud? Let's see, it's going a bit sideways now, so when it goes sideways it usually takes out any weak positions, and that is one. If you recount that, you may class that as a higher low. Yeah, it's got stopped out to me. It's just way too far. It's a million miles from the EMA, that is, in all fairness. And there's a bit of congestion there, so there's probably going to be, if this may come down and take out any of these longs, 2 legs back, there'll be longs there, no doubt. Longs there, quite possibly. So this looks to me like it may come down for another leg. It's possible. So where's the line in the sand? I'd say there for some. but for mostly there, I'd say. It does look like two nice legs and a nice bullish bar, then and a higher low. Let's see what happens here. If this is a leg, that quite likely come down. If it comes down to here, let's just check I'm not missing something. See, there is a possibility of a two-tiered channel. This just might continue to go sideways until it gets over here. I'll have to keep an eye on that. So let's see if that holds. Let's put that back where it was just for the time being. So if you took that one, your stop's still intact. So this looks like a leg and a leg. This is interesting. Two legs back there. Is this going to trap some shorts or push up? It looks to me like that. I was going to say is going to push up, but we haven't had nowhere near another leg. So this looks like just two legs back, but I'm staying out of this at the moment because it is sideways. Let's zoom out a little bit. Yeah, the picture's a bit does look like a spiking channel, but if this goes sideways and then up again, there's probably going to be a bigger channel. You get what I'm thinking, don't you? Something like that. If it continues to go and then up, there's a bigger channel, two-tiered channel, but just for the minute, let's leave that there. Possible higher low there. Two legs back, higher low. Oh, I don't like that bar. Got a leg down. We could have another. Well, it's broken into two. One, two, bigger leg. One. This could come down and create another leg. So it could just drop. If it gets above there and here, then I'd say it's going up. It's very tempting to take that. Very tempting. But I'm just sitting tight at the minute. I don't mind missing a trade. See, if it is a two-tiered channel, this could quite easily come a lot further this way. In other words, that one is going to last 5 minutes because it's probably going to get stopped out and come down here. So so good decision to leave that one away. I mean, it's ticked over and come straight down, so there's no way that's not going to get stopped out, and we've got a bearish bar now. So this might have a quick drop and take out stops, and stops. Let's see. It's all right. I'm not saying what's going to happen. I'm just talking through my thought process. This is what going through my head when I'm working this out. So if you took that one, it triggered just stop you out by one tick. It just goes to show how this market works, doesn't it? So there is a bearish bar there. Let me see if I can figure out what's going on here. Is that just a bigger channel? It's possible, and if it is that channel, then we could come a lot further sideways, and same here. One, two, three. Okay, let's put it to where I think is where I'd like to leave it. And let's see what happens when it gets to here. See if it starts to work up here. Because that looks to me like one leg up, two legs back, and then I expect another leg. That's really starting to look like two legs back. This is like a penguin style trade. A leg up, one, two legs back, and then another leg up. This is interesting. So let's see what happens now. It's actually closed right on that line that I put there. Let's see what happens. See if it does start to respect that. So leg and a leg. So there's one leg back. And there's another. Took a second entry short, did you? That one there or somewhere? Yeah, I mean, it may come down. It's hard to say at the moment, but my thought process is this looks like two legs. So I thought we would possibly go up. Having said that, there is a possibility it just could be reacting to the top of a range and it may come right down, but I just want to see what happens with that measured leg. That's hit that measured leg now. So we got a touch. So let's see what happens now. Let's put that to there. If it holds and starts to work, then it's going up. If it continues down, then I'd say it's more likely just a bigger range. Leg and a leg. Let's see if we push up here. Possibly a higher low there at the moment. See, I'm not sure because it may trap you and come down. It may just be a range day. It's gone a little bit more than a measured move. So going along here is something I'm not interested in at the moment. This looks like it may just drop. It's very close to these bottoms. Okay, let's see what happens here. Okay, so there may be a channel there, 2 legs up, and then further down. Trouble is, excuse me a second. This to me looks like it's sort of coming down, but I've seen this before. It'll come down so far and shoot up. It almost looks like it's sucking in shorts. So I'm just not getting involved at the moment. There is a channel down there with 2 legs. A second entry short possibly, but I'm not going to go short into this lot. It might work, it may come tumbling down. Good news to start the day. Yesterday I sent Apex proof that I didn't break consistency rule. They agree that they made a mistake and approve. Excellent. Brilliant news. Excellent. I'm really pleased for you. Excellent. You've got to stand your ground. At the end of the day, Apex, you know, I like Apex, and they talk about it's a business, this is a partnership, we need to sort of respect each other. So the fact that they've done that is good news, because I couldn't see a problem with what you were saying, and the fact that they've acknowledged that is good news. So good on you, mate. Good on you. I'm pleased. So if anybody hasn't read that, good news to start the day. Yesterday I sent proof. They sent Apex proof I didn't break consistency rules. They agreed. They made a mistake and approved my payout this morning. Brilliant. That's excellent news. I bet you're over the moon. So sometimes when you're just friendly and polite and you stand your ground, but you've got it. Apex will be looking after their interests. It's your responsibility to look after yours. So that's good news. Well done. Absolutely. Congratulations. Good. To be honest with you, at a quick glance yesterday, you told me you do 1 to 2 trades. I could not see an issue with yours. And at the end of the day, it's not that, that you could say, well, yeah, but he had 1 large trade and then the rest were smaller. Okay, so what are the rules? The rules are 30%. Did it break 30%? No. Rules are there for a reason. If it breaks 30%, then you've got to have a line in the sand. Otherwise, we need to know where our boundaries are. And the boundary is you can't break the 30% consistency rule, and you didn't. So whether something just flagged up and they just follow certain procedure or not, I don't know. But I'm pleased for you, mate. Good on you. Because it is a little bit disheartening when you take your time and you do things the right way. You pay a company money and lots of it, more than likely. For a certain service, and they have certain rules. Your rules, and if something goes wrong, you've got to stand your ground and say, well, hold on a minute, you set the rules, I followed the rules. Why have you denied me? So good on you. That's good news. So I bet you feel better today, don't you? There's nothing worse when you hear something like that and you've got to wait for an answer. So that's good. That's good news. So, are we coming down here? Personally, no. I don't think we are. If we did come down to this, we've only come down to here. So for me, we're pushing up. Yeah, there we go. Like I said, this to me looks like it's sucking in shorts. And I've seen this before. So we've got a leg down and another slow leg down. And then off it goes. So let's see if there is a bigger channel there, or we're just hitting a bit of sideways. Let's go from there. Maybe not. Let's put it there and follow backwards. Yeah, it's possible. It doesn't fit too bad. I'd like to see it come down here a couple of more times first before I think it, before I think that it's going to go up. So that's good news. I'm pleased for you. I hate hearing stories like that when people have, they've worked hard, they've done the job, and they get denied. So good on you, Apex. Oh, look at that. Touch, 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 touch. That makes sense to me. So let's see if we continue on up. So good on Apex. They've admitted they were wrong and they've paid your money. So that's good. That's good. You know, we all make mistakes. As long as you know, admit it and you say, yeah, our mistake, there's your money. That's fair enough. So, great. That's really good news. So that Apex is listening to traders. I mostly use Apex now. I'm testing. Yeah, I've considered others because it's always nice to have a backup just in case. So I think it's important. I am testing Top Step X platform too. Interesting. I've got to say I'm not a fan of Rhythmic. My personal experience of it from what I read, and obviously I'm here every day just like you guys, and I read all the comments and stuff, and I'm sort of quite sort of active in the Facebook groups. Sometimes you hear just too many stories about Rhythmic and it just gives you a bit of an unnerving feeling. But I was just reading some comments earlier, and a couple of people were saying, "Oh, it's not good, blah blah blah." But I understand that Rhythmic to a degree is out of Apex's control. But if you provide a product for someone and you say they have to use a piece of software, then really that software has to be at least usable. So I don't know whether does anybody know if any of the other prop firms do they all use Rhythmic, or is there other options? But I like the fact that they've had big payouts. Apex, which does say they pay. I've had a few problems in the past, but they've been dealt with. I have dealt on and off with Chris Childers, and he's okay actually. He's always come through for me. And Marion as well, I've had a dealing with her once, and she sorted the problem out I had. So my experiences personally have been okay. And I wouldn't use them otherwise. So, for me, I think Apex are about the best out there currently. My ass, where you get leg drawing tool, I cannot find it. Okay, the tools across here are part of Max. So I don't know whether you use... Max price action trading system, and that's where these tools come from. I'm not sure whether I don't think there's leg tools in here, is there? No, yeah, it comes with Mac. If you're a member of Max price action trading, I think it's $125 per year, and you get these. I get the news and one or two other bits, but I mean, failing that, you just sort of do that, don't you? And then obviously copy and paste. I think that's how a lot of people do it. I like that move. It's unusual. What is going on here? Okay, maybe that doesn't work. That's odd. I've drawn something there. Why can't I move it? How weird is that? Hold on a minute. Have I drawn the... Can I not move that? How strange is that? Anybody ideas? Okay. What about everything else? Oh, that moves. Odd. Odd. Yeah. You've put hotkeys on my drawing tool so I can just... yeah. Never done that, actually. Go to options, unlock... is that what it is? Must be just on that one. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. This... let's remove that. I'm not sure what's going on here. It was that one, wasn't it? Yeah. Is it on lock? It's locked. I got it on lock. That's why. Apply. Should move now. There we go. Look at that. Fantastic. Hey, ain't technology amazing? I do have a lot of these locked. Like that's locked. That's yesterday's highs, so I have that locked. So it might just automatically be on lock. So NQ is dealing with the poor Tesla earnings report. So if this goes down, you would expect this to as well. Okay, so a leg and a leg. If we are at the bottom of the leg, then maybe we continue up. I don't know, because at the moment we've had a leg back and a leg back. This does look like the type of thing that would push up, but I needed to respect that line a little bit more first before I start to think about going long, because at the moment we're having some pullbacks here. So whether this is just going to bounce and then take off again, which would be good news for this. It just does look like two legs back. We got a leg there and a leg there. Yeah. Trouble is I can't go long here until this is at least above the EMA and looking like it's going up. So if you've got any Scottish people out there or of Scottish descendants, it's Burns Day today, so happy Burns Day to everybody. I've got my haggis safely tucked away in the fridge, which I'll be having this evening. I don't know a lot of you US guys know what haggis is. Basically, it's offal heart, liver. I think it's sheep's heart, liver, and lungs, all chopped up, which sounds lovely. It's mixed with oats and suet and spices, boiled in traditionally it is a sheep's stomach. Most of the time now it's a bit of plastic, and then you just reheat it, and you usually have that with the neeps and tatties or potatoes and swede. So I'll be having that with a few single malts later. So I know Sam's Scottish, as you guys know, so he'll be having his later. It sounds horrible, but it's actually very tasty. So I don't know if a lot of you US guys know what it is. What's the best method to pass combine? Like if you had to go back to back now to pass, what to do? It really does depend. I know, people who trade. I tend to trade more contracts. It depends where you are in your trading. But I tend to just take my time a bit now and just, I tend to trade. I tend to go for 4 contracts. So I was having a bit of a chat with, quick chat, quick few words with the Alpine trader. And I asked him what, because he started getting some payments. I asked him when does he decide to take a payment? He says as soon as he hits $2,600, he takes a payment. And then he just trades that account on and hopefully he can hold it. But I kind of like the idea of that, because if you get over $2,600, you take $2,000. Technically, you got $600. You really got $500 a drawdown. Now, if you go down to one contract, and you trade just the one contract, you've got to lose 3 trades in a row to blow that account. But I suppose the beauty is if you get up to $2,600. So at the moment, this looks like it's coming down, but it's holding. If we can get a higher low here, I'll go long. I'm going to take 2,000 when we get to 26. And the way I look at it is that account is then paid for itself. That account costs me $140 as the one-off payment, and say $35 to $35 for the evaluation. So that account is more than 10x'd itself. So what I'll do then is use some of the money to add more accounts. So if I can get an account to pay, I'll take a payment at $2,600 or when it's above there, and then I'll reduce that account down to one contract and just let it ride. Try and get it up to maybe 5,000 or 6,000 where I can take money every month. At least that way, then you've got, the option to add more contracts. So there is a second entry long there. If you'd have taken that, you'd have got shafted. And there's a sort of a higher low there. The trouble is, it's still under the EMA at the moment. This does look like it's coming down, but it almost looks like it's bottoming as well. So if you'd have put it one tick above there, yeah, you would have even got a point out of that. So that was no one took that, did they? At the moment, it could drop. It seems to be holding, but it could drop. So I got mixed feelings about this. We've played that measured move, and look, it's at the moment price is being held, but it needs to push up and above this before I'll even think about it. I did not take no. I mean, it is a second entry long. In the right circumstances, it might not be a bad trade. But at the moment, it's a bit sideways, and if you go long here, you're going long right in the middle. So, yeah. I like the fact that it held there, which is a good sign, but at the moment, this is looking a bit bearish. I was hoping it was going to hold and push up, and it may still do, but it's just hard to say at the moment. So I'm thinking really, we've pushed up, we've had a break from this, we've pushed up, and we've made sort of two more decent sized pushes to go higher, and we haven't. So if it breaks below here, then I'm just going to draw a big range here. Which I think it's probably, in fact, let's do it now. It's probably going to be, let's have a look, just maybe a little bit of a range here, a little bit of a range here. We do see this from time to time, so let's just make this a different colour. Let's make it yellow. Okay, so maybe I'll get rid of that for the time being because I think it is. Yeah, we just looked like we got some sideways. We had that spike from the news and we got a bit more sideways. So at the moment, personally, I would say that is more valid, that we're just sideways and sideways. It's definitely valuable to have this because if this is going down and you're looking for a long, it does make you stop and think. Because there was a second entry long and it did connect that line. But the fact that this is looking bearish makes you just ask the question. I think it's a good idea. We have news in about 4 minutes. Yeah, it's medium impact news. So, I've got nothing on my chart. We had some medium impact news at 3 p.m. UK time, which was 5 minutes ago. So I'm not sure what news you're looking at, bud. Any news I should have on my chart there? What is that? Any news I should have on my chart? Oh, 4 minutes ago. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, nothing that says we have any type of news here. And it is medium impact. It doesn't really do anything. I tend to have it on here, but it doesn't usually play a part, an important role. So we got a leg and a leg. Let's have a look. I don't think, even if you connect to the lows of the day with I just can't see this going sideways right to here, then up. It just doesn't really. Yeah, sorry, 4 minutes ago, yeah. So this is starting. Starting to look like a channel. Certainly working within that way. I'm not a massive fan of that. I'm just going to remove that. For me, I think it's more likely just going a bit sideways. No, I don't like that either. I think it certainly looks more like a channel. We'll see. So yeah, what I'm probably going to do is when we get above $2,600 is take 2 payments, and I'm going to add, I think, 4 more accounts and do it like that. Once I've had payments, those accounts have 10x themselves, so they've more than paid for themselves. But then I'll reduce down to 1 contract, and if I can manage to keep them above water, then happy days. I'll just bring them along for the ride, and if they manage to get up, I'll ride them up to maybe 5,000 or 7,000, and try and just get a monthly payment for them. But I just chatted to him quickly about what he does, and that's how he takes it. It doesn't owe him anything then, technically. So I kind of like that idea. I think it's good to get some money out of him and put some money back. So I'll put a chunk, I'll put some in the bank and put some back. But what I'd like to do throughout the year is take a bit out of him and trade my own account alongside as well, and try and just build that in the background over the next maybe 12 to 24 months. To see if I can build a separate pot. We'll see anyway. So, yeah, I got mixed pictures here, really. That sort of looks like a bull flag. I think that type of trade can push up as well. Thing is, if that is a channel, that may break and come down, so I don't really want to be going along here. Not until this works up and we give it a chance to come down. We'll see. Okay, interesting. That's picking a top for me. I don't do it. I think sometimes it's hit and miss taking shorts like that. If we get a couple of legs down and a higher low to go higher, then I'll be interested in more of that. I would like to see that trigger, though. It has done. Oh, no, it hasn't. Let's see if that triggers. Leg. Triggered. Yeah, see, if this is a channel, well, it's certainly, we're, with the exception of this, we're certainly making lower lows. and lower highs, but it's still very choppy, which sometimes makes it a little bit less reliable. But it's hard to know whether that's just going to come around and bounce off here and then push up, or whether it's going to try and make a new low. So there's always a possibility of a bigger channel. But that's just what it is at the moment. A possibility it could work up, but I want it to work up. I don't want to just assume that's where it's going and jump in. Yeah, see, if this is going to come down and make a new low, that's not what I expected. Come down, touch this and push straight up. I'm kind of in a good place at the moment. I like where my sort of balance is. I feel balanced at the moment, because sometimes I went through a stage of being a little bit too overcautious, to the stage where I was even a bit scared to take a trade. So I've gone from being careless to overcautious to seem to finding some balance at the moment. So admittedly, I do miss out on some trades, but I think I stay out of trades I would have lost more than not. And I do find now I'm in a place where I just get a feeling about a trade. I don't necessarily need to go, yeah, it follows the rules. It just either looks right or it doesn't. And I'm assuming that most people get to that stage. And then about how you guys feel about that, or whether you've hit a place where you just can have a look now and think, yeah, I like it, or no, I don't. Where a lot of times before I was like, oh, is it or isn't it? And I'll just take it. But now I'm in a place where I feel like I can just either click the button or leave it. It does help having this. See, for me at the moment, if I was going to take a long off here, that wouldn't be a bad place to take a long. But the fact that this is already quite a bit away from the EMA tells me that there is a possibility. If I'm going to trade this here, it's almost like trading that there, isn't it? It might seem okay to trade that, but then this is so far from the EMA that it could come down, so maybe it's not a good idea to take that. That could be a leg and a leg, so I don't think there's anything there I would have taken anyway. There is that bar that, in fact, I haven't reloaded my historic. There is that bar there, which is, well, it's more neutral than anything, isn't it? But I suppose people will look at that and think green, but it's triggered. Now, the issue I have with that is we've got 3 sort of little green bars, but I know after a leg up we could get 2 legs back, and the fact that this is so far from the EMA tells me that perhaps I shouldn't be going along. I can hear. No sound. Yeah, just I check your system, bud. Let's see if this gets stopped out. Is it going higher? Yeah, quite possibly. Weird. Yeah, can everybody else hear me? Well, if one can hear me, then obviously it's working, isn't it? Okay, so if you'd have taken that one, you'd have got shafted. And I don't like the bar anyway, in all fairness. I was waiting for 2. But if you were thinking about going along there, have a glance over in and think, wow, we're quite a bit away. Yeah, you're right, mate, don't worry. We're quite a bit away, so this could, obviously the further it goes away from the EMA, more chance it's got of coming back. So would I take a trade here? Yeah, probably. Would I take a trade here? No. Okay, so if I wouldn't take a trade here, is there anything about this that I wouldn't take? Yeah, the bar's naff. So it definitely helps you having this. If this looks bullish right from this area and this does, it just gives you that. It's like having another experienced trader with you going, yeah, it looks okay to me. So, you know, I kind of like that. So if you'd have, I mean, we've had a push up. Normally you'd make a new extreme from this, wouldn't you? So we've come down and we've held we've held quite a few times there. So you would think, yeah, that would probably go long. So you may take that and it triggers you, comes straight down and stops you out. Is this going to work? Possibly. But I don't like the way this is going sideways. So this tells me on the right, there's no way on God's earth I'd take a long there. So that tells me this could come back. So do I really want to be taking a long there? The answer is no, from a personal point of view. So try go long, try. There's a failure there, which is, yeah, trapping some shorts. So you may think, oh, long's a good idea. And it may well be. But this is telling me, just be a bit cautious. So let's see if this picture helped me make a better decision on there. Now, granted, this could come up, but I like to have two sets of information, really. This one's saying, yeah, okay, well, it is a second entry long. It's a nice big bullish bar, but this is just too far from the EMA and it could come back. Now, there will be traders who've taken that second entry long for sure, and I get why, because it's sat right on top of that line. But look what happens, it triggers you. It might hold, but this looks like it's coming down to the EMA for me, which tells me that bar is risky. If you took that one, you've already got stopped out. I'm not suggesting anybody did, but you know, if anybody would have done. So let's see if that holds. It is a second entry long and it might hold, but the fact that this was, now that's come back and pushing away, so maybe it's not bad, but I do like having that extra bit of information. Let's see. The trouble is it could trap some longs there. Because of this downtrend, there may be traders thinking about going short, but I'm quite happy to miss a trade. And not only is that giving me information, it's clearly congested. So that's a good enough reason for me to stay out. Quick glance at that tells me at the time it was too far from the EMA and it could come back. So there's a bunch of different reasons, in my opinion, not to take that trade. So I'm staying out now. It might rocket up, make a flipping fortune, but I've got no issues with missing a trade or leaving one go, because to me, that's pure congestion. Yes, it's holding, which is a good sign. But at the time, that to me was going sideways and it could come back. So we'll see. We'll see. The fact that it came back and then went higher is a good sign, but yeah, okay, so it's worked okay. Missed the trade, better than lose it. Yeah, I mean, you just don't know. It could still work, but because it worked doesn't necessarily mean, you know, it was a good trade. Sometimes they just work. But at the time when this was forming, this was too far away from the EMA for me. So, but you got your points, I think, there if you did take that. But this is my personal opinion. So let's have a look. So you'd have got 2 points off it. To skip a potential winner versus being stuck in a risky trade. Yeah. What I don't want you guys to do is, just because I don't take something, you know what I mean? I've been doing this 3 years, which is probably about the average time that most of you guys, there's going to be guys doing it less than me, and there's going to be guys in here, well, a lot more experienced than me. It does look like a bull flag. I'm expecting it to push up. But my issues have, although this is tatty and sideways, it is coming down, so there's always the possibility that it may come back down. But to me, as it pushed up and we were making these sideways congested looking ones, this was forming. So for me, it's not somewhere I want to be taking it. Yeah, but I mean, you can't argue there's congestion there, because we're touching there and we've touched 1, 2, 3 times there, so it's clearly congested. But I like the signs, the EMA is going up, so I like the fact that it's lightly. But I've done this before and it comes down and stabs you out for a tick and rockets up. But at the time, I didn't like what I was seeing here. There was a couple of dojis followed by a bearish bar. So if that came down a bit lower than that quickly, it could come down and retest this, in which case that one wouldn't stand a chance. But like I say, it's about picking the best of the best. It is a second entry long, but it's a bit congested. We could always get a failed breakout. It could, we've got a bearish bar there. It could always tick above that and come down and take you out. So there's the possibility of having a failed breakout, the possibility that it's ranging a little bit, it's congested, and the possibility that looked a bit too far. So it's about sort of picking up quickly what sort of visual information you can see and making a decision on what's best. So, yeah, absolutely. Some people, and I absolutely get why you want to take that. If I wasn't looking at this, I'd be very tempted to take that myself. But it is congested as well, isn't it? So, but I absolutely get why you take it. I'm not saying it was a bad trade, but for me, the information I was getting, I get a feeling now, yes, I'm comfortable with it, or no, I'm not. It's clearly a bit congested, although, the bars are looking nice and it is a second entry long. But my issues were that this looked like it could come down. So, it was enough to keep. But I've not got a problem in the slightest of leaving a trade. It used to bother the hell out of me. In fact, if I missed a trade, sometimes I try and just randomly jump in it to try and get back, to try and sort of get back in because I'd missed out. But it doesn't bother me in the slightest now. You took it and got excellent, mate. But like I say, there's more experienced people in this room than me. So it might be good for you. You took it 4 points. Good on you because of the consistent higher lows of the day. Absolutely. Yeah. So see, I'm thinking. Yeah. See, I agree there. Breakout. It's clearly going sideways at the moment. We got sideways there. Having said that, sometimes if you pick a big channel for the day, a lot of times it'll go up sideways, up sideways, up sideways, as we know. So this might be the start of a big channel. Well, it may be from there or something, but yeah, most breakouts fail. And my issue is we've got a push out there and a big bearish bar. So you don't know whether it's going to trap longs here, and then drop. So we could have one leg back. So there was a few different reasons but it is about picking the best of the best. And we've all got slightly different degrees of what I consider to be slightly more risky. There's a lot of grey area in trading. It's not black and white. So it is down. I see trades that people like Marco or Daniel take, which I believe to be very, very strict traders. They're very, very choosy. But I see sometimes they'll take trades that I deem too risky personally. So, it's what's in your comfort zone. You know what I mean? What's right for you isn't necessarily right for someone else, and vice versa. I was nervous hell with you got 4 contracts on it. Yeah. And not only that, if I was on an evaluation, I'd probably take that. Because I take more risky trades on evaluation because I figure, I maybe have a 50-50 chance of passing an evaluation because I do speed them up. But a trade like that, I would. But trading money, I've got over $3,000 in here. I don't want to risk, I don't know, what was that bar? It's that one, wasn't it? So let's say you go there. So it was 3 points. Yeah, tick above, tick below. It's about $300 risk times 2, $600. I don't want to risk $600 on that trade because if it triggers me, comes to the top here and comes down and stops me out, I'll kick myself because I'll say, why didn't I listen? I could see it was a bit congested. I could see we got a range and it could fail. And I could see at the time we were away from the MA, would you take a long there? Not a chance. But these tend to follow each other. So why, that's what I'd be thinking personally. Why am I taking a long trade when I'm seeing that? So, which is why, I didn't. But obviously then we did come back, not quite as low as we could have done, and then pushed off quickly. So, yeah. It's just one of those things, isn't it? You've all got to make your own decisions because we all see things slightly different. That's the trouble. MES. Yeah, if I was trading MES, I'd have probably taken it. It's like anything, isn't it? You know, the more you risk, the more sort of careful you become. Well, one likes to think so. But so, like I said, would I take that on evaluation? Yeah, probably would. Because I like the setup. It is a second entry long, it's a bullish bar, and it's off here. But I still have this thing in the back of my head that, oh, that could fail. We've had a push up and we've got a big bearish bar, so it could fail. We could have a leg and a leg. And then obviously seeing this, that sort of made my decision. But it's one of those things, isn't it? We all have to sort of make a decision, and ultimately it doesn't matter whether you take it, it doesn't affect me, or vice versa. But if you take it and it goes wrong, you know, if you deem that it's worth the risk, then you've got to take it. So there is a possibility that there may be a bigger channel. One thing that tells me we may be moving up in a channel is we push up a bit, sideways, push up, sideways, push up. And if you look at the daily, it certainly could go higher, couldn't it? So far it's pushing up. I like 50% trades. Well, we always took 70 or 80% trades. Yeah. At the moment, I've taken 13 trades and won 12 of them. And I've done that by being strict and following that gut feeling. Now, I could lose 2 in a row. That's always possible. But it's about finding where your sort of comfort level is, isn't it? And obviously, we don't have a lot of time to think. 12 or 13. Something like that. Let's have a look. Bearing in mind there's two on here, so I'll have to set them up. Yeah, so that's all of them. You'll see 2 there because there's 1 on each, but that's given me over a 92% win. So if I get rid of one of these, let's have a little look. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, 13 trades with just 1 loss. And I suppose they average around, we got 250, 225. There was 1 tick there. 200, 100, 200. So it's probably about 150, 175 on average, something like that. But obviously there's 2 portfolios on there, so it's looking like there's double the amount, but it's still giving me a 92% win rate. I felt like that trade is 60-70%. Yeah, I'll agree with that. The setup looks good. I like the fact that it's pushing off the EMA. The EMA is facing up, and it is a nice bullish bar, and you may trap some shorts. But you know, I don't know how many times I've heard Max say most breakouts fail. That is one of the mantras we have, most breakouts fail. And at the moment, we're going up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Breakout. So there's a good chance it's going to fail. And we had a big bearish bar. And it did come in, didn't it? But then, you know, it's holding on this line. But I've said this before, and I see it all the time. Sometimes it sucks you in. It'll give you a weaker bar, maybe another bar, and then we'll have a drop. So we could have had a leg and a leg, and it may have taken all these out. So there's a possibility it's going to fail. Now, if we'd have 2... Excuse me a sec. If we'd had very similar here, 2 nice legs back here, then I would take it. But at the time, we had this. Now those 2 bars are more or less dojis, aren't they? Which means area of indecision. So we made a new high from this. Are we coming down? Not sure. But these bars, you know, we pushed up and then we go sideways, which means we could come down. And we did, not that much, but we could have come more. So seeing this, I would never take a trade going along there. So why would I take one there? That's the way I see it. I know they're different, but they're also the same in a way. You know, they look a bit different, but at the moment, we're seeing the same picture here. We've had the push up, the break, You know, so it's just one of those things. But I think everyone gets to the stage where you can look at something and you either like it or you don't. You know, the more you do it, it'll become like second nature. And it was just one of those trades that I just thought, I'm not a massive fan. And I have to listen to my gut feeling, because if I go away from my gut feeling, it's emotions will be making the decision then. And I've got to let the gut feeling do it, regardless of you know, what my emotions are telling me. You know what it's like sometimes. You think, well, I got something here. But I try and just not think of that now and just listen to that feeling. And if it doesn't feel right, I'll just let it go. But so push up sideways, push up sideways. So we've sort of we're seeing that sort of familiar pattern, aren't we? But let's have a look. It's still a little bit unclear to a degree. Let's put that there like that. Yeah, maybe later. We'll see. See if there's something a little smaller. So we're retesting this, or maybe that's just a failed breakout. Maybe it's a leg and a leg and then we fail. Who knows? Let's just put that there, so at least we've got somewhere that there is a possibility. I just think this is going to come back in at the moment. So this is under the EMA. So we've had a push up, we've had a break, 1, 2, pushes to a new high, another attempt, and we've made a new high. So it's just hard to say at the moment. This is even worse picture than this. Yeah, it certainly could do. At the moment, I'm just a bit unsure as to exactly what's going on. It certainly looks like it may be continuing up. The daily is still looking bullish at the moment, but we've only got to come back a quarter of that candle, and that'll bring it down here. So it doesn't really give us anything definitive, this. We'll see. So let's get rid of that. Yeah, see, Baby Squid, you saying that 60 to 70%. If you're taking 2 points, 70% would make you money. I suppose some people will have a less win percentage, but they'll still be profitable. But I just try and avoid the losers completely. I'm just not a fan of them. So I'd rather just wait and be a bit more finicky. But I absolutely get it. You know, we know traders who get a 60 or get a 50% win rate, but they risk 1 and make 2. So, you know, your win percentage really doesn't necessarily mean you're a successful trader. You know, you could have a 95% win rate, but if you're risking 3 to make 1, it doesn't sound that good. So your win percentage really isn't the whole picture, is it? So, but if people want to take trades at 70%, I absolutely get it. If that's part of your strategy, absolutely. Mac would put it down maybe as just to a slightly more aggressive trade, but it doesn't mean taking aggressive trades isn't a winning formula. That kind of works, doesn't it? Well, that does work, doesn't it? I don't know how people feel about this. I don't see why not. I don't see, we've got a sort of a channel down there. So look at that, there's a channel down there and a break. So there's a channel down there, however you've got it drawn, a break, one, and then a bunch of pushes down to a new low. So it certainly could be. Trouble is, I went for a stage of drawing the bigger channel straight away, and then I found out I was missing stuff, so I focused then. So I think it's much better to focus on the smaller pictures. We're only really going for a point, 2 points, something like that, so we don't really need that bigger picture too much, especially if it's not that obvious. So what I'll say is that looks like a channel. So we may have one leg up, two legs up, and then down to make a new low. It's always possible. It does look like it's a channel of some sorts. It's not the neatest looking channel, but it's clearly sort of working down. So perhaps we've got a leg and leg. What I noticed is maybe a year or two back, a lot of the times we'd break from a channel and make a new low straight away, but now we seem to go around the bloody planet before we eventually make a new low. So it's really hard to work out if this is likely to come down and make a new low. I mean, if we get below there, I'd say for sure. But patience. We got 2 great second entries yesterday after the stream. Waited all day for them. Good on you, mate. What did I do yesterday? I had 6 ticks, didn't I? 6 ticks. Yeah, 1.5. Yeah. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It'll work like that. I mean, if we look at yesterday, where did I finish? It was around about here, I think. And then we had that big drop. So if there's anything, is there anything I would have taken there? Maybe that one. It's hard to say. Got the channel down and a break. Actually, it was a failure, wasn't it? Try to go long. So that was a failure. Trapping the longs. Would I have taken that one? I think I might have done. Would it have worked? No, it's not safe to do that because of the lows. Let's see if it would have worked. For 2 points, or maybe not. Is there anything else I would have done? Not really. This not as nice as it sort of looks. When you zoom in, it doesn't really give you much. Okay, channel down, 2 legs up. Now let's have a look at this, because this to me looks like it may come down and break these lows. A leg and a leg. It could also trap the shorts and push up. So that's very tempting there. But at the moment we're above the EMA, so okay, it's finished slightly on the neutral side, so I ain't getting involved here. Although it is a leg down, 2 attempts to go higher, so it may work, but this to me is looking more bullish, which is a good reason for me to stay out of this. Doesn't look like it's going to trigger anyway. In fact, that actually there, if we want to be finicky about this, that is a clear break. So we've had a channel, a break, and a new low. Trying a low once. So are we now going to push up, or are we just going to test the underside of this line and come down? because if this is a failed breakout of this little range here, as we know, a lot of the times we'll get something very similar at the bottom. So are we going to come down? Because I mean, if we have a second entry short, it might be just testing the underside before it goes. It's hard to say at the moment, but on the NQ is looking a bit too bullish to think about going short at the moment. Right, okay, let's just remove that. It's not the best looking range we've got. It might even not even be a range we've only really touched now. All right, let's just say I don't know what's going on there at the moment. Let's see how this finishes. If this finishes bearish, I'd say 100% there's going to be traders taking that, and I absolutely get why. Let's see what happens. It's a doge anyway. It's slightly more bearish than neutral, but still for me it's not the type of trade I would want to go short on. I admit we got a leg down with two legs up, but there is a break there. If you go from there to that bar there and that bar there, it touches nice. There's a clear break and a new low. So let's see what happens there. I wouldn't want to go long there because I know there's a ton of support or resistance there. So for me, it's not a good place to go long either, because it may just be coming up and retesting the underside of this. This looks like it's slightly bullish, but it's still a ways from the EMA. So there is a higher low there, but I don't want to go long into that. Let's see, there is a possibility it could go, but at the moment there's a ton of support and resistance along there, and I think that would be a mistake for me personally to go long into it now. There is a good chance it might continue up, but there's also a chance it could come careering down. We know there's support there, and there's still two legs, leg and a leg, testing this underside and down. It's absolutely possible. I'll go as far as to say lightly, but at the moment, I'm not sure what this is doing. I mean, it's very tempting, that. It's very tempting, but at the moment, this is just unclear. It may trap some shorts and push up, and it may not, but it's just not clear for me. If this comes down below the EMA, I may look for a lower high to come down, but at the moment, I'm not taking anything. Penguin just faded back into the overnight highs. Two legs to a new high pushing out. So this is a good place to expect a reversal. Yeah. I do rate him as a trader, actually. I think he's probably one of the best out there that I've seen around YouTube. You know, around the same sort of level of us as us. The trouble is, to take a lower high, I absolutely agree there's two legs up there, but at the moment, I just don't know whether we're going up and up and up, in which case, if we do, that won't hold. I hope it does, but it's another reason why I just can't get into that at the moment. I agree it's two legs up. It's testing the underside of this, so ordinarily you would think that might be a trade that would come down to the bottoms, but at the moment, this isn't filling me full of confidence. Because we have had a channel down and break in a new low, so this may be going up. Depends how you look at that, but does that look like a channel to you? It kind of does. Look at that, we got a bullish bar sat right on top of that EMA. This could go up. 2 legs up, bearish bar triggered. If that pushes up and stops that, that's going up. It might not, it might just turn and come down. Let's have a look at this. It's triggered that bar, so so 2 legs, lower high. Maybe it is coming down. But at the moment, I'm just a bit unsure. Because this is stacked, this is congested, which means it could go up or down. So I don't want to base that decision based on there's going to be shorts there and there'll be shorts there. I'm more than happy to miss that trade. It does look like the type of trade that would have worked, but at the moment this is congested, which means it could go up. I'm not suggesting it's going to, but it could do. Okay, that looks like it's coming down. Trouble is, if that's a little bit of a range, this could fail and push up. It's just not coming down as quick as I'd be comfortable with. Oh, I've done it again. Okay, so the lower high clearly worked. So what is going on here then? It looks like it's ranging then, not going up. Yeah, see, at the time we've had 2 legs up and a bit of sideways, so it could go up. The NQ for me is just looking a bit unclear. I don't know what the hell's going on. So we've had a channel down there and a break and a new low. 2 legs up. That I wouldn't have taken. That, in all fairness, didn't look like a bad trade. But at the time, this just is not very clear. So as we've broken out the top, there's a good possibility we could break out the bottom. It's certainly likely we could come down here, so there is a failure there, but that for me is a bit too far away from the EMA. Not only that, if there is a channel, we've come down to the bottom there. We've only come so far down here, so I'm less comfortable with taking that trade. If I'm going to go short there, I'd rather have 2 legs up. Yeah, that was a missed trade, that one. Leg up, and a lower high. I think if you took that one, that was a good trade. At the time, I didn't like the picture was saying, yeah, I think the lower high is a good trade, actually. Do I think Mark will map that? Absolutely. He's not here anyway, but yeah, we've come in and just pushed. Because we've had that break in the new low, I just wasn't sure whether we were going to try and push up again. In which case, we have 2 legs and then a push higher. But I've got no problem with missing trades. It's just the picture's just so unsure exactly what I think's going on. 1 minute I thought we may be, pushing up in something bigger, possibly. Couple of, I don't know. Usually this helps me out in a good way, but obviously there is the odd occasion where it doesn't, but it's certainly helped me out way more times than not, this has. There have been times where I was gone into trades and this didn't look right, and it saved my neck. Okay, excuse me just for 1 minute. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. Okay, let's have a look. not the easiest days to trade. That, I think, was a good setup. I would expect that to break out the bottom after having that. If we can get a second entry short from here, because there's going to be some longs trapped there. I think personally they would be weak positions. They're not low enough for me to be strong. Triple test to the bottom. See, triple test the bottom would indicate pushing up. I still would expect this to come down. Personally, because of the fail breakout on the top. Not taking it, but I see why it's causing congestion. Yeah. Is this picture any clearer? No. It's even more confusing, this, isn't it? At least we're getting some sort of structure. So we got a leg. Well, they maybe are going up. Yeah, I like to use the two. In all fairness, this is way more clearer than this. So we've come down, done it once, twice. That's the best place to put this. Let me have a look. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's probably a safer place, I think. Technically a second entry short by the counts, but I'm just not a fan. This isn't telling me what's going on at the moment at all. They look risky to me personally. It depends how you've got this. I didn't move it up. In fact, that's probably, there's 4 touches there, so after this though, I would expect to break out the bottom. I mean, there's going to be some stops along there for sure. Let's see if that one would have worked. If it gets below there, I mean, it's made 2 points anyway, but in all fairness, just as much as I think it's going to break below there, it's still way too risky, in my opinion, to take that to go short, especially after we've come off the bottoms. But we've had this 2 legs up. I would expect to have a push out the bottom, a break out the bottom. I don't think there's a channel there at all. I don't know. There's the answer. Okay, we broke below there. It's clearly made 2 points. It says technically by the count, but that looks just like a single move up to me, so it could trigger and push up. You also have a nice channel going down. Okay, let's see if we trap them longs and come down. I do expect this to come down. Looks like a leg down. 1, 2 attempts to push higher. Okay, there is a bearish bar there which is triggered. If that gets below this, I think that'll drop at the moment. I'm just going to have to sit tight here. There's a bit of congestion along here. I think there's probably a bit of uncertainty. Are we going down or are we bouncing? That bearish bar's just triggered there and pushed up. So that's not what I expected. All of a sudden I don't like this channel. Interesting. So are we going to get a failed break out of this? So we come down, make one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher, and then are we going to fail? That's interesting. Or are we actually going to push higher? So leg down. That looks like maybe a triple test to me. Come down. 1, 2, 3. Ooh. Okay. I still think from this we're likely to break below here. Coming down, we made one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. Nothing I can do there anyway. No setup. I'm not massively convinced there is one, in all fairness. The issue I have with that is if this is the channel down at the bottom here, we've made a few attempts to go lower, which tells me if that is a channel that it is likely to have a break. I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, that would tell us that we will be likely to go lower, and that's my thought. Because of this break, I'd expect to come down here and make this measured leg. So let's just assume that is a channel. Let's just get it where we think it's probably right. I'm not a fan of a channel when it comes down and makes one low, and the rest of the time it comes down, it doesn't come that lower. So let's see. Second entry short there. Interesting. Now that would indicate we're coming down. Let's see if we can get a lower high here. I mean, look what's happening at the tops. Maybe we come down, test the underside of this, and then come down again. Let's see if we get a lower high. Trouble is, still going low into all this support. If it does break this support, I expect it to drop quickly. But we see this all the time, don't we? We get a break out the top, and then we get the same at the bottom. So let's see if this triggers. I'd like to see a relatively bullish bar here trigger, and then give us a lower high, because there's going to be stops below there and there. There's probably going to be quite a few stops, you would have thought, around about there. And if it does manage to get there, let's see if this triggers and gives us a lower high. Be interested to see what goes on here, because we're clearly making lower highs. We get a nice bearish bar there, second entry short, which triggered, but then we're pushing up. Ooh, let's have a look.
Order submitted.
Possible leg. shit, what's going on there? Okay. Christ, I hate when things go wrong. If this stops that bearish bar out, game over, I think. Looks like it's going to, so
order
I'm
cancelled.
just ditching that. Maybe a second entry short there. We got leg down 1, 2. Maybe this is a triple test, second entry short. Maybe a leg down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher, and then a failure. We shall see. Or are we having a leg and a leg come up to the top? Maybe we are. Yeah, it's just a bit of a funny old day today. It's just not very clear, is it? Perhaps this is a channel, a leg, and then down we come. God only knows. After that failed breakout and a sharp pull back, I'll be surprised if it gets any higher. I still think, from experience, seeing that push up there and the pullback, that we're going to make the same thing down below, which would take us somewhere down towards the midline and that measured leg. So let's just keep an eye on this. So we got a leg down, 2 attempts to go higher. Let's see what happens. Maybe as we can bounce and get a lower high, and that will get us aiming in the direction I think we're going. So it's even more confusing. This is it's not telling me everything. Leg. It's very confusing. That is. Let me just see if there's any type of a range there. Maybe it is something like that with just that failed breakout. We got 1 there and 2 there. So yeah, maybe it is just like that. It's about as best as we got, really. Yeah, this is just mega choppy. Excuse me. Let's see. So, second entry short. I'd like to see that push down and give us a lower high. And same here. We got a leg down. 1, 2 attempts to go higher. Failure down below the EMA. There is some resistance along there, right where that is now. There. There, right the way along there. There's a failed second entry short there. You won't really want to go along there. So it's triggered you. Maybe it's going to touch this. So leg. Now if we get a bearish bar, if we get a lower high here, I'll be going short there. Because we're at some resistance here now. Let's just get rid of that. It's just confusing. Yeah. So I'm not convinced that's a channel. It may be. But it's so damn choppy, this. I don't really think it matters now, anyway, really. Took that short failure on the MNQ. That one there? Yeah. A bit too far from the EMA for me. Be interested to see what happens if we can get a lower high. It's really choppy. The more I look at that, the more I think it's actually a nice trade. 2 legs up, lower high. This is a real mess today, the NQ, I think, and that's what it filled me full of. Now, occasionally, I suppose this may keep you out of trades, but I would say it saved me from taking trades it's saved me more money than it hasn't. So I still think it's useful having it. Because it's always nice to have two pictures. Now, sometimes one picture is going to be a lot clearer. But like I say, I don't have any issues with leaving a trade. But the trouble is, we don't often have a lot of time to look at these trades and make decisions. Market's moving pretty quick, and you get very little time, so you have to decide quick. And I always think it's best, if you're not sure, just to stay out. If you stay out of a trade, you can guarantee you won't lose a penny. So, but at the time, I just didn't like what I was seeing there. The picture was unclear. It was, in fact, was it here? Yeah, I think it was, because we got a leg up and a leg up sideways, leg up sideways. Yeah, I wasn't sure what it could do here. I'm just wondering whether I can move this up a little bit now. If I put it around there, is that any good? Maybe there. I don't know. Not sure about that. Okay, maybe we get a lower high down here, we'll see. What I don't want to do is get trapped in another attempt of a channel. Excuse me, I think there I've got to use it as a range. And we're clearly at the top or even slightly above it, so the last thing I want to be doing is going long into that, really. But obviously I need a signal to go short as well, because you can always get caught out. Definitely a tougher day, with the exception of that one. It's very choppy. I'm sure, was there something else? I can't remember now. Oh, that was another one, wasn't it? Yes, I stand by that. See, if you take it up to there now, well, I don't know. I'm on the fence with it. I think it's clearly a bit congested. So at the time, yeah, it's just congested. So, but there you go. Some you win, some you lose. But I think you're always best, if you're unsure, just to leave it. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Well, we look like we've come off the top, so if we can get a lower high, maybe retest this. We'll see. So every time we've been up here, we've come down. We've been up here, we've come down. We're up here, we've come down. The same here. But we've actually closed above here. Last time we closed above, we pushed up higher. That's interesting. Bullish bar that's triggered. Would you want to go long into there? It's not what ideal, is it? Let's see if it comes down, stops that out. Okay, let's have a wee look at this. Are we having just two legs down, or are we actually coming down? There is a lower. Well, I don't consider that a lower high. We got a channel down with a break. That's the first entry. That to me is a lower high. I know people tend to get confused about that. I see, people saying, "Oh, there we go, lower high." And that's a channel with a break. That is a lower high, isn't it? So I don't consider that lower high. We got a channel with a break. And there's a higher low for me. Otherwise, people will be thinking that was a higher low. There's definitely some resistance above here. No argument there, and there. It's way messy than this. Same setup in the morning. And about here. Right, pull back on the EMA, yeah. Okay, so one attempt to go higher second, possibly a second entry short here. Trouble is, I wouldn't want to go short into the EMA. So we've got a channel down, one attempt higher, second attempt higher. There's a possible failure there. Try it once, try it twice. If it gets below there, I'd say there's going to be some longs there and definitely there. So if that works out right, that could come right the way down. There'll be some longs, stops there, I would have guessed. And there again, US Treasury Secretary, let's speak to 1:30 ST. I'll probably be done by then, usually around about then. Okay, so there's a failure there. Two legs up. My issue I have with that at the moment is it's just above the EMA. If this brings below, maybe we get a lower high leg, 2 legs up and then a leg, we'll see. Traders are avoiding due to this, maybe. It's still moving. I've not got no news on my chart, so it can't be high probability, high impact news. Otherwise, I'd have it on here. I don't think there's a channel up there. There may be. I'm still not sure about that. Long target 23. Oh, I don't know if I'm ready to go long yet. This to me, we've had a new high. Try to go once, try to go twice. This could come careering down. It's finding a lot of support up here, and we did here a few times, and then it dropped like a flipping stone. So I have a feeling it's going to do it again. Unfortunately, that to me is an inside bar at the moment. If that gets below there, it's down for me, I think. We've been up here before. We had this chop up here and we came down. Depends whether it holds. If it gets below there, it's game over, I think. Maybe a second entry short. Lower high on the way down. Who knows? It could go up, could come down. I have no idea. This to me is just sideways. It's congestion. So it just makes whichever way you go more risky. So going long right into the tops for me wouldn't be a good move. It could trigger coming down. It could do a bunch of stuff. I don't know. It's an hard picture to read today. It's triggered that. That looks like it may come down. It's a second entry short for a start. New low. Second entry short off the key entry point. Clearly in a range day, and this is the top of the range, so I think there's a fair chance it could come down. We shall see. I certainly don't want to be going long here into all that because there's a ton of support along there. Although we're probably above a lot of it. So I don't know. I don't know, love it. Yes, Trade, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, it's just hard to know what to do here sometimes, isn't it? You know, we all have our idea. I have my thoughts, what I think it might be doing, but I've got to sort of base, decisions on what it's doing rather than, at the moment, see, obviously part of the trick is to know which way to go, long or short, and where. But at the moment, we've broken above this, with the exception of this. We've struggled here, here, and here, and now we're above it, and we've closed above it. So it may have another attempt to push higher. I mean, we got a big relatively bearish bar here, so there is that possibility that could go rocketing up. But we need a little bit more. Let's see, look what's happened there. Look, that's closed below there. There's going to be some longs trapped there, quite possibly there as well. So if that continues to come down, breaks below there, then I'd say we're coming down to the lows, I would say. There's just no setup to go short here at the moment. Inside bar, still above the EMA. We need to get in here, really, and below there, and that needs to get below this little range. Because it could come down, it could go up, who knows. trouble is, as we know, most breakouts fail, so even if it does break below here, it could fail and push back in, which makes maybe a short here maybe slightly more risky. See, look, that bearish bar's triggered, and now we're going up again. See, we need to start. We do look like we're starting to work, don't we? There'll be some longs there. The stop's intact. Same there. Triggered that short bar, and that's pushing up, so it could just have a strong push up. But that's just it. That's just it. Could. It's kind of why I like having this, because it moves a lot quicker, and it sort of gives you a visual representation a bit quicker than this. And if this looks like it's going to smash straight through there, and I've got an option to go along here, it just helps you make your decision. Excuse me. Okay, so there's a lower high there. Trouble is that could trigger. Let's see. If I think it's going to go below these, I may take that.
Order submitted.
Gone too far. There is a lower high there. Trouble is, you just don't know what this is going to do. If it gets below there, then I think there's a good chance we're going to come lower. But look, get a nice bearish bar there, nice bearish bar there. What happens? It triggers and starts to turn. Let's just get rid of that for a minute, I think.
Order cancelled.
I hate leaving those there now, especially after these rhythmic issues. You just don't know, do you? I thought for a minute it's holding price and the EMA's starting to go up. In fact, to be honest with you, it's come down, but it's close, still above that EMA. So the EMA is holding price. So it's certainly trying to go up. Put it this way, if this finishes bearish and it triggers below, comes down below there, I think it's coming down then, because it's trying multiple times to get up, and it'll only do it for so long before the longs give in. The longs give in and they just, you know, throw in the towel and down it comes. But at the moment it is holding prices, but it is sideways, and obviously that makes it a little bit more risky. So it never triggered that lower high anyway, so failed second entry short. Yeah, I personally, for me, it's risky going into there. You're going into all that support there. There's some there. It may work, but for me, I just can't go long into that. Bad triple test on the NQ. Yeah, are you on about the top or the bottom? it is looking like it. How you doing, Chris, anyway? It is looking like it's trying to go up, but that at the moment, what I will say, there's not a huge amount of shorts trapped there. I wouldn't have said. If you took that one, that you've lost that one, you may be short there, but I'd say there's longs there, there and there. And if you zoom out, you're right at the top of a range. So, you know, obviously tops of ranges, generally you would be thinking of selling, and vice versa for the bottoms. So I just feel so uncomfortable going long into it. Now, it's going to break at some point, whether it breaks up or down. But the trouble is, when it goes sideways, it is an area of indecision, isn't it? And if, you know, the guys that move these markets aren't quite sure where it's going to go, that's enough decision for me to stay out, because it's going to go either way. But I would say I would expect it, although it looks like it's pushing up, I would generally expect it to break below more than above, purely and simply because we're at the top of the range. It's just a numbers game. If we've been up here a bunch of times, but you just don't know, do you? Like I say, it's got to break somewhere. I can't see that there's going to be a huge amount of shorts in there. Short stops in there. It's hard to say. That's confusing me. Let's push that up to the same level. Stay. There we go. Thinking it might test the highs. Yeah, you never know. Trouble is, it's clearly sideways, isn't it? So going long into that. Yeah, up here. Yeah. Going long into that for me would be a bit of a punt. Massive down, yeah. Do you know what? I mean, sometimes I see this and I'm thinking, gosh, there's longs in there, there's longs in there, and there's longs in there. If that does happen to push down quickly below that lot, that's going to eat some stops, that is. Second entry long, well, yes, yeah, technically is it, but I mean, if you didn't buy that one, you may buy that one, and you certainly may buy that one. But look how it's reacting to the top. As it's looking like it is working up EMA's holding price, but the trouble is we've got so much support on here. You can see it here, and obviously there was a bit there, so it's just hard to say. It's going to go one way or another. But I would tend to think it would more likely go down purely and simply because we're at the top of a range, and obviously the tops generally was where you're selling, and vice versa for the bottoms. Another bearish bar there, so let's see if that triggers. So there's a failure there. Try to go once, try to want a failure, which is triggered. But I'm just not getting involved in here. There are times where I've just taken trades like this because it says it's a failure, but usually I tend to have a better win rate if I just stay out of this lot and let it figure itself out. Someone's in there moving it, but they got bigger pockets than I have. Same again, another possible long. You got that one. Maybe if you got your stop below there, maybe there, but then the trouble is every time we get up here we're coming down, and if that gets below here it's going to eat through some stops, so then I would expect that then maybe to come back and retest the underside and then come down to the bottom at least. Does look like it's more likely to go down. Well, I think the law of averages, when we're at the top of a range, it's got more chance of coming down than it has going up, especially, I mean, not even thinking about that amount of support it's got within that short space of time. Can you give your thoughts on why you didn't take that second entry at 345, the lower high? That one there. In all honesty, I think that's a good trade. At the time, I didn't like what I was seeing on here. Where was it? Were we around about here? Yeah. We're above the EMA. There, we're below it. So if I get conflicting pictures, I use this, and I've only started using this sort of a week or two ago. I use this to help bolster the fact, because sometimes, you know, pictures sometimes aren't that clear. So I think if you've got something giving you the same sort of picture, it helps my decision-making process. And at the time, we were above the EMA here, so I didn't know whether we were going to go like a bull flag sideways and up, which is why I stayed out of that. But then obviously it just dropped. You wouldn't have guessed that would drop on there, but if you took that trade, in all honesty, it looks like a good trade to me. But at the time, I just had these conflicting thoughts. But if you took that, I'd 100% say Mac would mark that. You know, sometimes it may not help you having this. It may keep you out of trades. But personally, it's kept me, that's coming down there, it's kept me out of more bad trades than it has good trades. So, You know, nothing's infallible, isn't it? Yeah, anytime, mate. Nothing's infallible. Let's have a look. It hasn't broke below there yet, has it? But I think it's about to. If we can get a lower high here, as long as I think that's going to drop below there. Has it yet? I can't tell. No, it hasn't yet. Okay, so we've pushed up, we've tested this 1, 2, 3, and we've come down. Maybe we test the underside or the EMA. Okay, that's down below. So I'd say now, maybe if it's maybe a retest, but I think that'll come down to the bottom there. So same again, way too risky going long. I get why people are thinking going long, but you know, ultimately it's at the top of a channel. That's the same setup we talked about this morning. We didn't get long, yeah. I mean, you can see there, it's looking, it almost says, come on, follow me, and all of a sudden then you get a flush down and everyone's out. I expected it to come back and retest this and then continue down. Or it might just be a failed breakout, who knows. It's a hard read today, it is. It's even less clear. This is certainly more clearer, this, isn't it? It's fitting a lot nicer, a lot more nicer. Is that word? A lot nicer? It's fitting a lot nicer. This is a lot more choppy and a bit harder to read, but we get what's going on by this picture, and that's the kind of reason why I like having the two, because you can put the two pictures together and hopefully get a better overall feel of what's going on. It's like anything. Having a second chart is like having someone with an opinion. Sometimes your opinions aren't always going to match, but mostly two heads are better than one, I think. So this is interesting. So we've pushed below there. So I'd expect a little bit of a retest and then another drop down to the lows. See, there's still that possibility that this still could push higher. Sometimes it'll do that. It'll come back, flush out some longs, and may get a bit more interest. If people are thinking it's going to go long, do you want to go long there? Not really. You want to wait for it to have a pullback. So perhaps we've had a pullback and then there's some longs thinking, okay, now I want to have a go. Yeah, the more I look at that lower high now, the more I like it. It's just unfortunate. My picture was a little bit clouded, but that's okay. I got no issues with that. I'd rather miss the odd trade. But it's definitely kept me out of trades over the last few days, that's for certain. And bad ones, but yeah, we got 2 legs up, lower high. If you don't want to take, usually, stop there. Oh, really? If you don't want to take that one 2 legs back, always better to wait for the lower high. Just it's more confirmation that we are going in where we think we are. So that's probably likely a bigger channel. The break, 2 legs up. And then a lower high, down, new lows. Let's see if it gets out this time. The fact we've had a bit of a break out the bottom might encourage more longs, so we might, oh yeah, well there we go. We've got above that now, so it does, it's certainly trying to go longer, isn't it? So maybe there's a leg. 1, 2 attempts to go lower, and another leg. There is that possibility. Come back here, we can have a leg and a leg. I finished the last episode of Billions last night. What a really good ending, actually. I'm glad they ended it, because I know there was rumours before about would they have another series, but the way it'd been finished, it could certainly end, and I believe, I don't think they're making any more, but it was a great series. If you've not watched Billions, 7, Series 7 they were up to, great. I mean, if you're a trader and all that stuff interests you, it's really good. It's really good. Suits, I haven't watched Suits yet. That's been out a bit longer, isn't it? It's got, what's her name in it, isn't it? What's her name? Prince Harry's wife, Meghan Markle, she's in it. I might have a go at that, actually. I'm out of what's it now. I'm out of Billions now. I finished that one, so I need something else. Yeah. Yeah, I'll have a go at that. Yeah, I'll have a go at that later, actually. I've watched, I think, isn't it 8 episodes of Fool Me Once, which I thought was okay. Is it really? Oh, okay, that'll do me then. There you go. I've got something new to watch, Suits. Yeah, be careful. That's all right. In fact, I watched Breaking Bad in about over a week, watching hours a day. That was another addictive one. And what was the spin-off as well? What's his name, the lawyer? I watched that as well, the spin-off. He's funny. He's funny, he is. What's his name? What was the lawyer's name? What's his name? Sopranos? Yeah, I watched some of them. I didn't click as much. I don't think I watched enough of them. I think I watched the first few episodes. Salt, he is good, isn't he? He's great, he is. He is good. Better Call Saul, yeah, that's it. There you are. I thought you were in the background there somewhere, Kev. Better Call Saul, yeah. He is good, I like him. What else have I watched? I watched the other thing with the gingerhead guy, and that was good. And with Saul Berenson. I tell you what, what's his name? Mandy something. What a great actor he is. What a great actor. Mandy Patel. I can't remember now, but what a great actor. That was another good one. I really enjoyed that one. Homeland. I thought that was really good. I really enjoyed that one. Homeland. House I liked as well. I go back and watch those now and again. I think Hugh Laurie played a brilliant part. But there is some great TV around. And I love binge watching stuff. Great series. Yeah, I love binge watching stuff. I do. I mean, I couldn't go back to the old days where you watch one episode a week. That just pulls the shit out of you. But I don't know what else. What else have I watched? Never really watched. What was the other one? That had a massive following. I watched a few of them. Sean Bean was in the original ones. It was all like Dungeons and Dragons type stuff. That was a massive series. Never really got into that. Prison Break was another one I watched. That was okay. Dexter. No, I never tried Dexter. More sex than killing. Yeah. Never really got into Dexter. My wife watched a lot of Dexter. But there is some great series around. There really is. But Suits. I'm going to give Suits a go. I've been looking for something else to watch. Anything really where they've had quite a lot of series of them usually are pretty good, aren't they? You can pretty much trust them. But yeah, there is some great TV. I've got to say, you Americans make some great TV. You do. Fargo. Fargo's not one I've seen. Fargo. I have heard of it. Fargo. Unforgiven. I've seen that. What's the Unforgiven? Remind me. I have seen it. Unforgiven. BBC. Unforgiven. Remind me about it. Unforgiven. I've definitely seen it. I think it was a few years ago. Unforgiven. I can't remember. Justified. Justified. Interesting. Justified. Let's take a photo of some of these. British crime drama. Unforgiven. It will come back to me. I'll just take some photos here. Unforgiven. It was in Unforgiven. Sorry, Unforgotten. Unforgotten. Excuse me a sec. Oh yeah. Unforgotten. I got it. Yeah, she dies in the end, doesn't she? Yeah, that's. I really enjoyed that. She died. Yeah, she died in the end, didn't she? She plays. Well, he did as well. He's like her Asian partner, and then he go. Yeah, I thought it was really good. He goes to see her at the grave, doesn't he? Puts his little hand on the gravestone. I thought it was really good. That I really enjoyed that. In fact, I'll go as far as to I'd watch that again. Actually. Yeah, that was really enjoyable. That was. It really was good. She played. Well, they both play a great part, don't they? She's very natural, isn't she? Yeah, that was really enjoyable. That was. You watched it with your wife. Yeah, did my wife watch it? I don't think she did, or did she? See, my wife gets up about 6:30 for work, so I don't need to. Did I? Did she? I can't remember now. I can't remember. Do you know what? I have a feeling that this to me looks like a bigger channel. This to me looks like we're going to get some. I like the way it's stopped there, and there. I like the look at this. Yeah, that was really enjoyable. That. What else have I watched lately? There was that one with Gillian Anderson and the guy from what's it? It's also Luther. Luther, I've not done Luther. It's been out quite a few years, Luther, isn't it? I think my wife did Luther. What was the other one with Gillian Anderson and him from 50 Shades? That was quite good. But yeah, I'm going to give Suits a go today, and I'm going to do Unforgotten again. I do like, when you start to forget a few of them, I like to rewatch them. I do. 50 Shades, yeah. I saw one of them with my wife, I think. Was it the second one? I can't remember now. It was actually a good story. I mean, you were led to believe it was all just about sex, wasn't it? It was just a women thing, but it was a good story, actually. I think it was good. We all want to be that guy, don't we? Stinking rich with a nice helicopter. And my wife and I, season 4 of Suits. Oh, brilliant. I'll have a go at Suits later. Yeah, good. I do like binge watching them. I'll usually watch 3 or 4 a day. All of them. Yeah, I'll definitely do that. Yeah, I actually thought they were good. They were okay, actually. There was a story behind them as well. He was kind of like a rich guy, wasn't he? But nice boat as well. Yeah, it was all right, that was. Up, sideways break, 2 legs back. This does look like it's pushing up. There is some good TV around, actually. But Homeland I really enjoyed. Is that a bit messy? It's hard to know what to do here, isn't it? You can get chopped up because we broke above here, pushed a bit higher and come back. It does look like we may be moving into a channel, but it can catch you out, can't it, sometimes? Saw The Night Manager as well, another Hugh Laurie one. He looked a lot older in that, didn't he? The Night Manager, I enjoyed that one. I do like Hugh Laurie. I think he played a brilliant part. I loved House. I loved him. I'd love to be able to just tell people what I think like that. Just speak your mind, and whatever comes out of his mouth just sounds so good, doesn't it? Yeah, stop that Jew. I thought that was brilliant. Brilliant. Blackadder, yeah, that's an old one. That's it, he was in there, wasn't he? With Stephen, what's it? I forget his name now. Yeah, that is old now, isn't it? In fact, I watched a bit of, was it Go Forth? Hugh, he is brilliant, Hugh Laurie, isn't he? He is brilliant. He plays it, but I don't think anybody could have played House like that. The depth of character he got into, I think, was just intense, wasn't it, really? Very skilled actor, just a real natural. Yeah, I really enjoy House. I've got it on box set, actually, on Blu-ray, which I do watch. Usually once a year, I'll watch them all again. Yeah, really enjoyable. What is going on here? Are we actually... If we can get back to here and start working up, then we may have the beginnings of a larger channel. But it's a bit early, isn't it? Yeah, Hugh Laurie's brilliant, isn't he? He's getting older, though, isn't he? He's not been in much lately, has he? He was in The Night Manager. I'm sure he was in that other programme, wasn't he? When he was he a psychiatrist or something? And he worked with that other guy, Ethan Supple or Supple or whatever his name is. Was he a psychiatrist? I can't remember now. But yeah, I miss House. It is a shame, really, when you get a great series in it and it finishes, because you really, it's almost like you know the characters and you kind of miss them in a way, don't you? Oh God, I've got no idea what to do here. There is a second entry long, but you don't want to be going long. Maybe a high-low there. I'm really on the fence as to know what to do here. It's not a clear picture. But no, there's some great TV out there. But yeah, I'm going to give Suits a go later. Are we pushing up again? Leg up. 1, 2 legs down. Maybe we get a high-low here. Which I'm not sure whether we just got a bigger range here. There is that possibility. We just got a bigger range. Blackadder. That was brilliant. That was typical British comedy, that, isn't it? Baldrick. I've got a cunning plan. Trouble is, if you get stuck going the wrong way, you've got to know which way the market's going, really, to get in, haven't you? It sort of kind of looks like it's working up. We got that leg up there, 2 legs back, and it does look like it's working. And I think by the end of the day, you know, we've had this push up sideways, and we could likely get another big leg up there. I wouldn't be shocked if we ended up doing something like this by the end of the day. And having the market right up there, I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest. But at the moment, it's just a little bit unsafe to assume that that's the case. I'd like to get back here, so maybe we get a leg and start working. Trouble is, it's very easy to get that wrong. I mean, we've got a touch. It's touching beautifully there, in all fairness. And, you know, we often do that. We go up, we go sideways, we meet some resistance, and we go up again. And And then obviously we end up having a bigger channel. But it's easy to get it wrong. I don't know. Let's try removing that. We need to get above here really before I can start thinking about getting long. And there's a lot of resistance and support there. You can see it along there, and we've bounced on it, under it, and then through it. But it is also really choppy. I think it's looking promising that we're going up, but that's as good as I've got at the moment. See, second entry long there, triggered, stopped you out. I don't think you'd have got anything out of that anyway. Point at the most, maybe. Point a quarter if you're lucky. So, leg and a leg. Let's see what happens when we get to this line here. I have a feeling we're just ranging here, and this is maybe just coming down here. We've pushed up, gone a bit sideways, had a drop out and pushed up. So we could get a leg and a leg there, and just maybe come down some more. I really don't know at the moment. I'm not confident enough to say what the hell we're doing, so if we do that, that's going to take us very close to these lows here. Yeah, I think this is more likely. Let's just get rid of this for a minute. It's just more likely a bigger push up and a bigger range. Yeah, that's coming down for sure, isn't it? I did look at that. Failed second entry long. But the trouble is, same again, there's a lot of support around there. You just don't know what it's going to do. Leg. Definitely a harder day today. With the exception of that, I think that was quite a nice trade, actually, the more I look at that. You don't look like much. NQ keeps bouncing off. Yeah, this is certainly a little bit clearer, but see, I thought we may get a leg, sort of a pull back, maybe a couple of retests up, sideways up, back, maybe retest these and push up, but we've come straight down, so I think it just might be one of those days today. Yeah, so there was a failure there, but I just couldn't bring myself to even thinking about going along short there, because look, there's a ton of resistance there, so you just don't know if it's going to trigger you in turn. So let's tidy this up a bit. Okay, yeah, in all fairness, this is just ranging, nothing more, nothing less, is it? I end up the day 1 loss, 2 lot sizes, 4 win, 1 to 1. Oh, okay, that's all right. You're all right. You're okay. It's a blank for me. What time is it? I'll do another 20 minutes. Maybe we get a failed break out of this. It's a little gap there, so so leg. Yeah, once it's got below here, yeah, it's just sold off. It's created a bit of a gap there. It's just jumped down, isn't it? So we've broken below all this, so any stops that may have been there probably aren't now. Are we now going to come down towards the bottoms, or are we going to turn and push back in? I mean, I could drop that down a fraction, so it would fit. So maybe we get a higher low here. I'll get a bit nervous about that, especially after that push down. Okay, so we got a channel, a break. Let's see what happens. I hate picking bottoms. Maybe we get a failure. See, we're close to the bottom here, but we've got another bit of resistance here, which that I suppose could be used. Maybe it ain't finished yet. Okay, that's close to there. Are we just going to tank? We may do. Okay, so that might be finding a bit of support there. So maybe a higher low. Maybe we look for a failure. Fail second entry short. It's a double bottom that as well, so that's slightly encouraging. I'd rather take the failure, to be honest with you. Just in case. If it doesn't come out and stop that bullish bar and it goes up and as the failure, I'll take that. I like to give it a chance to at least stop that out. I mean, there's a bullish bar there which is triggered and didn't get stopped out, and there's another one, a double bottom, but I don't just like taking that. I've done them before, and sometimes it'll sting you and come down for another leg, so I'd rather maybe if we can get a failure and ride that back towards the EMA. It may come back up here, but it might equally come to the EMA and then drop out the bottom. Excuse me. So I've got mixed feelings. So leg down, 2 attempts to go higher. Way too far for the EMA to go short. Big bullish bar there. I'd think that would certainly... I'll be surprised if that got stopped out there. We clearly got some... You can see it, 4 touches there, close enough there, a couple there. A nice big strong bullish bar. So I would expect that at least to get up a little bit. I'd like to see a failure because this sometimes looks like it might suck you in, but I don't think we're going to get one yet. You done, are you? You take it easy, bud. Okay, possible higher low here. see, there is that possibility on that daily that could come back. We pushed up and ended relatively bearish. We may do the same today. We could come back and make an effort to retest this before we push up. So it's hard to know what to do here at the moment. So there is a higher low there, but that's finished on a doji. It's congested. So I'm just staying out of that at the moment because it could come down. Let's see if we can get a failure maybe. But I just don't like this at the moment. It's definitely a bit sideways. Let's see, it could get a bit stung. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4 touches there. You just don't know. That's encouraging, but you don't know. Leg down, 2 attempts to go high and then a drop. I don't like this. Don't like it. So if you took that higher low, your arse would be twitching there. I wouldn't want to go short either at the moment. Okay, possible second entry short here. Interesting. Maybe we trap some shorts there. After this, I wouldn't expect that to come down. This is the bottom of the range and it's pushing off. So it'd be nice to get a bearish bar, trap some shorts, and then get a... Because I'd be surprised if there's not shorts in that, if that's bearish, and then just take the failure. Please finish bearish. I mean, it may finish bearish and come down. That certainly may, but... oh, that's a bloody doji, isn't it? Let's see what this one's going to do. If this traps and it looks like it's pushing up, then that would still interest me going along. Let's see what happens. I mean, that's kind of a nice second entry short. Let's see what happens if it triggers. Maybe a failure. We'll see. This could come down. We may come down. It's quite a nice second entry short, that. After a bigger break up here, I'll be surprised if some not shorts don't get in there. And if it breaks below here, I expect another leg. Let's see. This is looking encouraging. There's two nice legs, and it's quite a nice looking bearish bar. Now, it is at the bottom of this range, so it could go up. It just depends. It's technically a failure. I'm not taking that. EMA's flat. You just don't know. We're still below the EMA. I'd like to think that's going to push up above there, but it may not. So the last thing I want to be doing is getting stuck. So that failed second entry short has now triggered and given us a lower high. Slight issue I have with that. It's starting to stack up. So let's see what happens. And if it does come down, is it going to come down here and then bounce? It's very tempted to go short, but you're going short into a lot of resistance. I don't know how I feel about that. In all good conscience, I just can't do it. It's a massive bar. It's just too dangerous going short there. Do I think it's going to come down? It may do, but it may not. It may just two legs up. It may come down and bounce and push up. In which case, you're going to get shafted with 14, tick above, tick below 16. It's 4 points. I'm not risking $400 times two, $800 on going short right into resistance. It may come down. It quite probably will, but it could just as well easily bounce. If I went short there and posted this later, people would say I was an idiot going short into that. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's likely to come down or not. It's just way risky because this could break below there and snap back. I mean, there's such a lot of support along there, so it's just too dangerous in my opinion. Hasn't broken below there yet. Let's have a look. What's it got to break through? Okay, excuse me just for a second. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. Okay, so if you took that now, you'd be pretty nervous because that is a big ass risk. Let's have a look. So a tick above, tick below. You're looking at 4 points there, and it'd be just the same going long into the top. You just wouldn't do it. It may come down, but it's just so risky going into that lot. It is a failure. But I can't see, if I'm going to take that as a failure, I'd want to be trapping some serious longs there, and there isn't any really. I mean, there's going to be some shorts in there for sure. You wouldn't even got a point there, I don't think. No, you'd have had to break through there, so you wouldn't have even scored a point there. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's showing you the signs that it's coming down, but it's done that before. Just ends up trapping loads. I mean, if there was enough traders going short in there, you think that would come down, but it hasn't. It's come down 3 or 4 ticks and turned. Now that one's triggered. I mean, I have a feeling this is going to move really quickly. I mean, the signs are it's coming down, but you got 1, 2, 3. Look at those. You can't argue with that. You have to take that into consideration. 5 matching, absolutely. Now, it may work. Sometimes it does smash through and it could come absolutely rocketing down. But it's still dangerous because it may break below there and snap back quickly. It's old in a minute. You just don't know what it's going to do. I mean, if it does break above all this, you expect it to get right to the top. But, yeah, it's just too risky going short into that lot. There's actually 2 more left. Yeah. Well, you might want to get long above that. That's a small risk, isn't it? You just doubled your money there. What is that? So tick above it, tick below it. Yeah, it's about a point risk, and you've got your money already. I mean, it's giving the signals that it's coming down, but until it gets through that lot, and this does as well, you just got to wait, really. So is there a channel or... Possibly. I think we have a bit of a range there, so let's have a look. Yeah, let's put that there. See, this could fail. We had this above early, didn't we? Where was that range right above there? There, yeah. Jumped up and then came straight back in and tanked down to the bottom. So it could push back in. I mean, the signals are that it's looking like it's bearish, but you just don't know. I think if that was bearish enough, it would drop. 920 orders at 49.10, showing as an order 49.10. You're about to buy or to sell? Probably to buy, probably. Yeah, okay. So if we can get a higher low here, there's going to be some stops there. You expect there to be a ton of stops there. So let's see if we get a higher low there. That's triggered above that bearish bar. I have a feeling it's not even going to give us a higher low. I think it's just going to push. But what I will say, if we've got that little bit of resistance there, no, I don't know. It's all right. I'm waffling on a bit now. I apologise. So could still come down. See, that unnerves you. Yeah, there's definitely some there's longs and shorts having a bit of a battle here. Which way is it going to do? There's another relatively bearish bar there. Is that triggered? Yes, it has. And another one there as well, and that's triggered. Trouble is, you could go long above that, but it may only get to here. That's the problem. You'd have to get. I'd want to get above here and here before I was confident in going long. So it's looking very tempting. $668, $912. These are really interesting for big buys. $912. So here, yeah. So if it gets back here and there's buys, it'll take out stops there. Really want to get above there and there. If it goes and gets above this, then you expect it to push up really strongly. So, yeah, it's tempting to think about buying a tick above there. But the trouble is, it's okay having those buys, but you see, if you're looking at things like Bookmap just shows you what you don't see with Bookmap is aggressive buyers or aggressive sellers. So as it's working its way back up here, you don't know if aggressive sellers are going to sell as well. So we've definitely got a battle going. At the moment, price is still under the EMA. And it could just absolutely drop. But equally, it could just push up. So it's a bit hard to know exactly what to do here. And obviously, when you feel like that, best thing to do really is to stay out. Could really go either way. I think, in all fairness, if it were to break below there, then I would expect it to push down some more. Yeah, see, it's broken below that bearish bar and it's turning. Trouble is, you could get very easily trapped here and in the wrong direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, at the moment, price is holding. There is a second entry short there. Yeah, I do think it's like the shorts are gonna take over. I think. Yeah, there was a sort of, maybe call it a lower high there, but just same again, going into all that is just risky. Okay, so well, now where do we go? Excuse me a sec. Sorry about that. So let's have a little look now. Maybe that's a bit of a spike in a channel. It's still not reacting like I expected. I thought when it got below there, it was going to tank. It may still do. There is still a bit of... so there's a big-ass bullish bar down there. So we may have a push up. People may be expecting 2 legs back and then continuation, but that looks like it's coming below there. It's broken below there, so we got a leg. He pushes back up another leg. I So that would take us down there, if it does come down there. Okay. Yes, and there is a possibility that that may come down and retest this. It often does, doesn't it? And we've had 2 strong pushes up. And it's feathering out, isn't it? Got to come up and retest this, really. If we come up and retest this and the signal's right, that should get us to the top of this channel. It looks like a channel. I have a feeling this looks like it's just going to go. Trouble is, nothing I can do down here. Yeah, this looks to me like it's just going to start to drop. Okay, let's see if we can at least get up to retest this. And we got a leg down, 2 legs up. See if we can at least try and retest this. Let's see if we've got a channel of some sort. Yeah, let's just clear up some of this. Let's see if there's a channel of sorts. Okay, yeah, that kind of works. Touch, close enough. If we can get a couple of legs up, retest this, maybe down some more. Okay, 10 minutes. If we don't get nothing else, then I'm knocking on the head for the day. Not sure about this. Two legs up. Come on, baby. So yeah, shame about that one, but there you go. It is what it is. Oh, shit. It's getting slow now. Slow. Okay. Movement. I'm surprised of myself, to be honest with you, mate. You know, I just hope. I certainly feel like I'm in a place where I've just given up trying to fight the markets, and I just sit here until I see something. Let's see if yours is the best. Well, it's the best at the moment, mate. But I've said this before, so doesn't stress me out. You know, not taking trades doesn't. I don't get that urge like I used to just to jump in, and I think the reason is because you get stung so many times. I think at some point you just change, don't you? And I just hope that what I'm feeling now continues. But I'm not in a rush anymore. I'm not thinking about, oh, let's try and get this today or that today. You're about to go nuts. Took a huge loss today. Get out, did you? Yeah, mate, you've been here long enough to know how many times that's happened to me. I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again. That break I had at Christmas, I feel like I've come back a different trader. I'm certainly not frustrated or angry because, the way you do it is just simple. Watch from you. Yeah, things are okay at the moment. I just hope, I hope it's maybe my time. Thanks, bud. I hope it's maybe my time to finally get somewhere. At some point, you're going to get sick of just losing. And you guys know I've blown through 350 evaluations in about, 40 odd PA accounts. So I'm not the quickest learners out there. Well, I think my skill in trading is well enough to make money, but it's just taken a lot longer for the psychology to catch up because I'm quite stubborn. And I think I've just tried to fight the market just out of pure frustration and anger. And I think most people go through that. But I think at some point you have to I think you automatically change. I just think it's a process that everyone goes through at some point. It's just whether, you end up giving up before that time hits. So I hope it's my time. It feels good at the moment. I truly am sick already. I need a change. Going to start reading Max Manual. What I'll say to you, mate, is if you haven't had a proper break, maybe a good 10 days off, try taking a decent 10 days off and try just walk away and forget about the market. And I think what it did with me is just calm. It allowed me to just calm down because I felt like I was on a bit of a roller coaster and I couldn't get off. I was frustrated all the time. The feeling I used to get jumping into a trade, my heart used to beat. I used to it's horrible. It's almost like playing Russian roulette. That's what it got, and I got that sick of it. I felt the pressure around me head and me neck, and if the market go down, I'd just click sell, and then if it went up, I'd just click buy, and if I got lucky, I got lucky. If I didn't, I'd lose more money. I was terrible for doing that, and we're only talking a month or two ago, and the feeling of doing that is horrible. And then you think, I'm up a bit now, let's leave it, and then before you know it, you're clicking the sell button again. You're up into 5 contracts or 10 contracts, and it was literally I was just hit and miss. I was just pure gambling, it's a horrible feeling to feel like that. Like you can't control yourself. It's as if something's just taken over. And I got to say, I felt crap all the time. And the break at Christmas, I think, just allowed me to just have that little bit more breathing space. So I just hope. But what I'll say is when you trade properly and you don't take stupid revenge trade, your time away from a computer is a lot better. My evenings seem a lot more relaxed. I'm not on edge all the time. And I think I've finally learned that don't do stupid stuff and you won't feel like crap. So it happens to us all at some point. I just hope this is my time. But I mean, you guys have seen me here long enough. You send me account after account after account. And you guys know what I was doing in the evenings. I was blowing accounts, But so far, the last since I started back at Christmas, I've just felt better. And I feel better for it. And I think my stubborn, stupid brain has finally decided to just learn. I can be stubborn sometimes, and sometimes I take some listening to. So maybe finally it's I've always been a believer in if you keep trying and you try hard enough, you'll get where you want to be, or you'll certainly improve. And maybe just I finally have in my time. Yeah, I know you have, mate. Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate all you guys. You're all my work colleagues. Yeah, I spend more time with you guys than I do with my wife. Some people might not say that's a bad thing, but there's nothing worse than being stuck in a room by yourself. It's just not, trading's a lonely old business anyway. But when you ain't got no one else to speak to and you feel like crap, it's horrible. You sort of... I'm pretty sure at times I was just gambling. Well, I don't deny it. Actually, I was. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. I think we're all making growth to a certain degree, aren't we? We all sort of operate at different levels. I mean, it's taken me a while, and I have put a lot of time in. So maybe other traders will probably get there a bit before me. But I don't think it's because of my lack of skill. I just think it's okay having the skill, but when things go wrong, if you can't deal with it, you can have all the skill in the world. You could be the best trader in the world. If you can't handle the losses and it destroys you, you know what I mean? You're sort of buggered. But I just hope my skill level and confidence level is tipping that psychological bit away from me, so it affects me less. But so far, I don't think I've been for a period of 3 weeks where I haven't done anything stupid. In fact, I can categorically say I haven't. So perhaps it's just my time. Perhaps, the break at Christmas. But if you haven't had a break, are you done, are you? Yeah, you take it easy, Kev. If you haven't had a break and you are in that frustrating bit where you're just constantly blowing it, take a week off. Take a week or 2 off. You have to have time away. Otherwise, it just mentally does you in. And I haven't really. I get a bit obsessed with stuff, and I haven't had time away, and I think that might be why it's taken me a bit longer than most. But yeah, if you are in that, my dog's pestering me now. If you are in that really frustrated, that frustrated stuff, just try taking a break off and see if it helps you. You took a break and immediately I managed to get 5p accounts. Yeah, it does help. I get why Mac takes his time away from fishing. I mean, even... we all know this is a stressful business, especially when you're a scalper. Scalping's probably, I mean, I'm no expert, but I'd say scalping's probably the most stressful type of trading you can do. So you have to have time away. But I have started to lose it again. Yeah, I think it's just a case, mate, of just keep plodding along, and eventually that mind will just give up and go, okay, I'll just have to take best trades. And I've had to allow myself to make mistakes, because I've always been an all or nothing person. If I mess up, I just tend to give in and I'll succumb to it. So I've had to, accept the fact that it's okay to make a mistake, but what I can never do is just jump into a trade. Scalping is the most stressful. Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with that. I think at some people, at some time, I think you've just got to go. There's no point in fighting. And that's the best way I can describe it. It's battling with the market. It's not accepting the fact that I might not be good enough at the moment, and not accepting the fact that I've had a loss, and you battle it, and it's constantly fighting. And the trouble is, if the psychology gets the better of you, and you haven't got the skills to back it, it's just going to murder you into the ground. And there is sort of a lower high there, which is at the same top. Tempted to take that, but there's just no room to the lows. But that does look like it's going to drop. But we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I just, as much as I'm tempted to, I just can't take that in there really. It's just one of them things. I've got no issues with taking ones where they have a matching high, but it's just too risky going into there. It could turn on you. In fact, I'm done for the day, actually. I've done just coming up 3.5 hours now. That one I missed for sure. That was a good trade, that was. I just got a bit... My picture in my head had just got a bit muddled up. I wasn't seeing where I like to be comfort there, but if you took that trade, that was a good one. You spotted a good one there. But you just don't know. This looks like it might be just bottoming a bit. You could get stung here, I don't know. It did trigger that, and then it started to come back, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm done for the day. It doesn't bother me about not taking a trade. I think I've just accepted the fact that sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does. See, if I would have lost my patience there and taken, which one was I looking at? Or did it not form? I know it never triggered anyway. It's all right. I'm waffling now. I think at some point you just got to realise you can't fight things. You just have to go with it. If an opportunity arises, you've got to take it. And at the end of the day, it's been okay for me at the moment because I haven't had a red day. At some point, I'm going to have a red day. And then I've got to make sure that I go, okay, let's just think about all the green stuff I've had. One red day is not going to turn that down, so I have to deal with that and walk away. So it's kind of easy while you're all, you're having lots of wins and stuff. But that doesn't last forever. From time to time, as safe as you can be and as careful as you can be, you are going to have losses from time to time. So, you don't have to deal with the wins. It's the losses are the tough bit. Wins, you don't get stressed about wins, do you? There is a lower high there, but still, there's just no room to the lows. I mean, you expect the market to come down to here, but yeah, you're red today down $400. It's all part of the job, yeah. But if you can be down $400 and walk away, put it aside, come back tomorrow. As far as I'm concerned, you're already 80% there, even with no trading skills, because that's by far, as we know, the most difficult part to deal with, the losses. It's against human nature to give away money, isn't it? We can't. We don't like it. We've been brought up to, it's mine. You take it away, I want it back. And that's all we've ever known. So to all of a sudden be able to accept the fact that it's happened, it just seems, it doesn't seem, it's against human nature, isn't it? And that's the bit that like I've mentioned before, you can go to a gym and start lifting weights and you can see weight coming off and muscle coming on, but with you, trying to adapt that brain, you can't really physically see anything. So you just sort of have to trust that at some point, I'm going to build up that muscle brain. If the muscles in your brain as opposed to the physical ones you can see in your arms. And, you kind of just hope it's going to happen at some point. So on that note, I've got a haggis waiting down. So it's Burns Day today, if anybody knows. Which is, I don't know if you know, it's like a Scottish, what's it really, bond auction in 5 minutes. Yesterday there was an auction, this time it impacted my gotcha. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to go away and have a few glasses of single malt and cook off my haggis. So I appreciate your company. It's much nicer. I was red $200, now I'm green $200. Excellent, good time too. I was aggressive. Yeah, sometimes you get away with it, don't you? It's okay being aggressive. Mac marks aggressive trades. As long as you, sort of accept the risk, it's okay. But I'm just a bit too much of a big girl for that, I think. I think it takes some balls, doesn't it? I don't think my balls are quite big enough. I want the easy stuff, really. So there you go. I'm going to leave it there. So Friday tomorrow, another week gone. I'll tell you what, we'll be in February in a week. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Didn't seem 5 minutes ago. Yeah, you take it easy. I will see you all tomorrow. So if you're carrying on trading, best of luck. I hope you get a set up. Failing that, I will see you all tomorrow for another round, and hopefully I can get something this time. So have a great evening. Stay safe. Yeah, and I will speak to you all tomorrow.